How's it going, everyone? My name is Anthony, aka ComicsRGreat, and welcome to the new comic book day haul video for the books that I got on Wednesday, October 27th. That's right, I decided to follow my wife's advice and actually jump ahead a bit, skip a couple of weeks, and just start recording week by week for the current books. Unfortunately, as much as I tried, my schedule was getting way too busy. I couldn't catch up. I was falling further behind. I was getting frustrated. So I decided to make the leap. And this video is about the books from last Wednesday, or so the most recent books. And I decided to make a couple of changes. So I hope you like it. I decided to split the books up. I posted some of the covers on Instagram, and some of the covers that I didn't post, you're seeing it here strictly on YouTube. So I hope you like it. The video is going to be a bit long. I did get a little chatty. I'm doing stuff off the cuff. Changed my logo a bit. So I hope you like everything. Please let me know whether or not you do in the comments down below. In any case, let's get this ball rolling with the books that again that I got this week on Wednesday October 27th, starting with from Marvel Comics, Amazing Spider-Man number 77 by Kelly Thompson and Sarah Pichelli. The cover was drawn by Arthur Adams. So over here we have Part 3 of the Beyond storyline, which brings back Ben Reilly as the new Spider-Man with the Beyond Corporation backing him. It was a decent enough storyline, but I was hoping to find out what was going to happen with Peter Parker, since Peter Parker, he had a lethal dose of radiation and he's in a coma right now as of the last issue. So what happens? So we have, since this is about a 22-page issue, we have 20 pages of Ben Reilly and 2 pages of Peter Parker in the bed. So I think that they're going to drag out this whole thing with Peter Parker and what's going to happen to him. And if he's going to die or if he's not going to die, or, like if they're going to bring in a special doctor or whatnot, which kind of sucks, because that's what people want to know. I don't think that people are going to continue to be strung along by Marvel and continue to get Amazing Spider-Man 3 times a month. That's not going to happen. Definitely not with me. In any case, at the end of the issue, he fights Morbius. No surprise there, considering that Morbius is going to be, I believe, the next solo movie in the Venomverse by Sony. I probably won't buy the next issue. I'll keep up with what's gonna happen, but my run ends here. I'm not gonna definitely be strung along. But in any case, for those of you who want to know, number 78 is coming out on Wednesday, November 10th. From Marvel Comics, Black Widow number 12 by Kelly Thompson and Elena Casagrande. The cover was drawn by Adam Hughes. So this is part 1 of the Die by the Blade storyline, in which this issue is the first appearance of the Living Blade, a brand new character that literally invites fear to the Black Widow. And as far as I knew, there's really nothing that she was afraid of, at least not in the MCU. In any case, her and her team, along with Hawkeye and the Winter Soldier in this issue, they go to infiltrate the Golden Gate Gala, which they're supposed to get some information and find out what's going on and what's being auctioned. Little do they know that what's being auctioned are superpowers. But in any case, she runs into the Living Blade, and she is frozen solid in fear. In fact, in the last page, it says, "This can't be happening." So she's definitely afraid of him. Alright, so I'm definitely looking forward to issue number 13 to find out who this new character is, what her history is with him, and what happened to her, and why she's afraid, not just for her life, but possibly the lives of her family and her team. Unfortunately, issue 13 is coming out on Wednesday, December 22nd. I have to wait nearly a full 2 months to find out what's going to happen in the next issue, which sucks. But in any case, the storyline should be great, and definitely looking forward to it. From Marvel Comics, Daredevil number 35 by Chip Zdarsky and Stefano Landini. The cover was drawn by Marco Cicchetto. This is part 5 of Lockdown, and it's also the penultimate issue for this Daredevil run. So we have Elektra still dressed up as Lady Daredevil, as we see on the cover, and she's fighting multiple bullseyes. At the end of last issue, she gets help from Typhoid Mary, who's dressed up also in a Daredevil costume, just like a standard one. In any case, during the fight, Typhoid Mary skips out because she knows that Bullseye tells her that there was one extra bullseye left, and she knows that her love interest, who is the Kingpin, that his life is in danger. So that leaves Elektra with all these other bullseyes. As crazy as it sounds, the original Bullseye tells all the clone Bullseyes to kill each other, because he wants to have the pleasure of killing Elektra himself. But who winds up showing up? Matt Murdock and the rest of the Avengers. And right now, Matt Murdock, he seems to have broken the hold that this drug had over him in prison. And they face off against the police, who want to arrest Matt Murdock. Okay, even though he's the one who winds up bringing Bullseye to justice. So there's a face-off there. Obviously, next issue, which is issue 36, is going to be leading into the Devil's Due crossover event that's starting. And I believe after that, we will eventually see Elektra as Lady Daredevil. Alright, she's going to officially become Daredevil, and I won't be surprised if Matt Murdock eventually steps down. And in my opinion, I mean, I do like Matt Murdock as Daredevil, but Elektra is definitely doing a much better job, and she has a new young partner that she can train, that she can definitely work with, and it'll be an interesting storyline with her, because she's a killer. She is a killer. There's no doubt about that. You know, and she's got to hold back and rein in those desires to kill people, instead of saving them. You know, that's not an easy thing to do. So she's going to be struggling with that throughout her time as Daredevil. But in any case, the last issue of the series, number 36, is going to be coming out on Wednesday, November 17th. From Boom Studios, House of Slaughter number 1 by James Tynion and Chris Sheehan. So this is a brand new series, House of Slaughter number 1, and is from the world of Something is Killing the Children, which is one of the most successful series, and not the most successful comic series in the last 2 years. So Something is Killing the Children is going to be on hiatus, so James Tynion and company can definitely focus on this and get the ball rolling. And before you know it, issue number 21 will be coming out. I believe it's going to be in February. So in any case, we have Aaron Slaughter, who is not a new character, but he is from Something is Killing the Children. And this is, right now, this first arc is his story. You know, and it takes place mainly 15 years earlier, when he really hasn't gotten his teeth mask yet, as you can see in the cover. He's there, like I said, with his mask on, and he's a hunter, which is the Black Mask. So he's in training at the beginning of the issue, and there's a group of white masks who do get the drop on him. He knocks out 2 of the 3, and of course that's a bone of contention with them, and they come after him later on in the issue. But he gets introduced to Jace, who you come to find out at the end who is his lover. Okay. But Jace becomes his roommate, and he's a white mask. And there's a strict rule that white masks and black masks do not bunk together. But in this case, these two guys do wind up bunking together. And while Jace is a white mask, when these three white mask girls attack Aaron, Jace defends him, and he says, "You ain't touching him. He's my roommate." So we know that despite the fact that he is a white mask and Aaron is a black mask, that he has a bone of loyalty there. He's loyal to, the guys who are around him, his roommate, okay, that he's more loyal to them than his clan. So that's going to be interesting how this pans out. I'm looking forward to issue number 2. I think James Tynion is going to have another hit on his hands. I know that these issues probably sold out, especially the foil ones. And that red secret cover issue, which I ordered on eBay, so I'm looking forward to getting it eventually. But for those of you who are interested, which many of you are out there are, issue number 2 is going to be coming out on Wednesday, November 24th, just before Thanksgiving. From Marvel Comics, Moon Knight number 4 by Jed MacKay and Alessandro Cappuccio. The cover was drawn by Steve McNiven. So as you can see in this cover, you have Tigra. Now, Tigra and Moon Knight were both Avengers from the West Coast branch, which does come up in the issue. But in any case, I haven't really been a big fan of Tigra's, but I do know that she hasn't been around for a while. So it's interesting to see Jed MacKay bring her in, into Moon Knight's world. But Moon Knight, for the first 3 issues, has had his face covered, despite the fact that he got into a fight with Hunter Moon. But he takes it off for Tigra. He hasn't taken it off for anyone else, not his vampire secretary or some of the other people around him. But, he physically takes it and voluntarily takes it off for her. And you see that he is kind of like in a state of depression, but his face is a mess. I mean, his bandages on him, his face is partially swollen. So he's not exactly in a good place mentally. I mean, not that he's, in a good place anyway, being a, partial schizophrenic, who has, I guess, anxiety disorders, especially trying to be the Fist of Khonshu. But in any case, he gets a call from this wannabe villain, and essentially, threatening him that Moon Knight's going to be a tool of his now, and he's going to do what he's going to say, what he says, or he's going to lose millions of dollars. And I think, like, Moon Knight throughout the issue loses something like close to between $6 to $10 million, which is a lot of money. But in the end, Moon Knight tracks this guy down and puts a serious beat down on him, and he tells him he doesn't care about the money. He's a priest. He will go bone broke poor if he has to in order to do what he needs to do. In any case, Moon Knight needs to get himself together, whatever together is. In the next 2 issues, is going to be the end of the first arc. So I want to see more of Hunter Moon. They introduced him. They kind of glossed over, like their first interaction, their first battle against each other, but I want to see more. I want to know where this guy comes from. I want to know why is he another Fist of Khonshu, and like what his backstory is and how he ties into Mark Spector. All right, so hopefully the next issue will get it going. All right, and hopefully in the next cover will be better. Steve McNiven's done a great job with the first 3 covers. This one, not so much. I think it throws it off a little bit. It's not one of his typical covers. It almost doesn't even look like his style, even though his name is on there. Just Tiger's face. It just looks different. Doesn't look like what he does. I don't know if he's trying something new. But I mean, I love how Moon Knight looks and his cover and his cloak in the background, how it's all in tatters and stuff. But Tigra, I don't know. It's just it's different, but not him for some reason. But in any case, issue number 5 will be coming out on Wednesday, November 17th. From DC Comics, Robin number 7 by Josh Williamson and Gleb Melnikov. The cover was drawn by Simone DeMeo. So this is the 7th issue, and it's the continuation of the first 6 issues, or instead of a first arc, it's continuation of the story, where Robin has infiltrated the League of Lazarus, which is more mysterious than the League of Assassins, something that he didn't know anything about. So he's infiltrated this tournament of death, which there's supposed to be a special reward for the one who survives, and they're supposed to be eternal, an eternal assassin working for the League of Lazarus. So they went through the prelims where everyone has died once. So now you have round 2 where they all fight each other again. So, but you have some heavy hitters here. You got Damian Wayne, who's an assassin in his own right, even though he's Robin. Then you also got Ravager, who's Deathstroke's daughter. You have Connor Hawke, who is Green Arrow's son, who is a vicious killer right now, which I don't know why. I don't know what's happened to him. I don't know if he's made some kind of deal with the devil, but Connor Hawke has turned into a vicious killer. Okay. And then you have this new one, Flatline, as you can see on the cover there, with that weird weird teenage romance novel. But Flatline has killed Robin once. All right, so they face off eventually, and this time Damian gets the drop on her. Okay, so right now at the end of the issue, there's only 2 fighters left. Okay, and so it's Damian Wayne versus Connor Hawke, and Connor Hawke beat the crap out of him the first time around. But right now Damian is a slightly different person. After meeting with his grandfather, the great Ra's al Ghul, and I forgot. And there's also a revelation in this issue where you have the woman who's been in charge of this tournament. She's called herself Mother Soul. Now, Mother Soul is not her name. Her name is Ra's al Ghul. So obviously she has a connection to Ra's, and supposedly that's his mom. So that makes this woman, Mother Soul, aka Ra's al Ghul, the great grandmother of Damian Wayne. So here she's a killer in her own right, but supposedly she died before the Lazarus pits were ever made. So how did she survive? How did she come to do this tournament and still be around? And what's her deep dark connection between her and her son Ra's? All right, so a lot of questions. Hopefully they'll be answered within the next 5 issues, because that's probably be as far as I'll go. But we'll see what happens. But Josh Williamson and Gleb Melnikov have been bringing the heat for this issue. It's been a great series. A number of the YouTubers that I watch have kind of consistently put this in their top 10. So I'm looking forward to issue number 8. And hopefully there'll be a lot more action, a lot more questions answered. So issue 8 is coming out on Tuesday, November 23rd, which is Thanksgiving week. So along with your turkey, along with the football, you get to read some great comics, and hopefully Robin number 8 will be one of them. From Image Comics, Time Before Time number 6 by Declan Shalvey and Rory McConville. The cover was drawn by Declan Shalvey. So for me, this is the comic of the week. I picked issue number 1 on a whim. It seemed like a decent premise, talking about time travel and stuff. And I've been hooked and been going on this crazy ride with this series. Okay, and this issue is definitely takes you on a strange ride. This is like a self-contained issue, and it lets you know what can happen to some of these individuals. So as you can see on the cover, it's a skull, and essentially a body disintegrating into the ether, and they actually show that in the comic book. So there's a guy named Mahoney. It's 1994, and the Syndicate is looking for him. Okay, so Mahoney passes by this one guy who he winds up bringing to 1989, 5 years earlier. Okay, and Mako, who's the guy who you find out about him and his family, they were dropped off. Now Mahoney did him a solid, okay, because the contract was for Mako and his wife, not their unborn child, okay, but he lets them go. The Syndicate finds out. They add the unborn child, to the debt that Mahoney owes, because these guys who take the people back and forth in time, they're doing it to get out of debt from the Syndicate, and somehow or other, whatchamacallit, just like a mafia, the Syndicate really screws around with these guys. Okay, they'll break a machine and say it's their fault, and when they buy a new machine, it goes on their debt as well. So they continue working for them. It's a dangerous job. There's a lot of radiation involved. So Mahoney took a really big risk in taking this pregnant woman and Mako, along for the ride, But in any case, the Syndicate finds out about it, and Mahoney does something that really pisses them off, and they go looking for him, and eventually they do get him. They beat the crap out of him, mafia style, all right? But what they do is that they strap him to the outside of the time machine, and they make multiple jumps, tens of jumps, maybe even a couple hundred jumps, all right, just to kill this guy. I mean, that's brutal, and the guy winds up disintegrating, and in the process, Mako, who winds up turning on Mahoney, he dies. He gets knocked into some concrete. They leave him there to die. So Mako's wife with his 4 to 5 year old daughter, they're there in a different, in a different time than where they came from, and they owe money to the Syndicate, so they're gonna be in a bad spot, and it's really bad for them. But I'm looking forward to issue number 7 is coming out on Wednesday, November 24th. From Black Mass Comics, White number 4 by Kwanzaa Osayefo, Tim Smith, and Jamal Igle. The cover was drawn by Carrie Randolph. So this is the 4th issue of a great miniseries, White, and it's the follow-up to the miniseries from 2016, which was called Black. So in this issue, X and company, they're there trying to figure out what's going on and why the president is attacking them. Okay, and his son gets hurt. It's been a while since I picked up issue 2. I'm gonna have to look at it and to really get a handle on this. But in any case, X and the leader of the resistance and his mother, they wind up being strapped to this one machine where they can see the events of the past, the present, and a bit of the future. But it's risky. They need some extra power, and X, because of his natural gifts and abilities and how strong he is, he seems to be the missing link. And they really stretch it out here, and you find out that since they're black and they have powers, there were very few of them at the beginning, and they were feared because of their powers. A number of them were captured and they were exploited. and they find out in the future, despite the fact that the white people who have, the political power, that they're in office and they still keep them under their thumbs, but technology is on their side now, and black people with their powers, unfortunately, they're still feared, they still get captured, and they're still exploited in the future as weapons this time. So it's not exactly good news for the black resistance. But one thing that you do see a ray of hope is that the one man who is walking around free, despite the fact that it looks like a nuclear bomb went off and there's nothing around, but X is still there. The young man who has all this power, he is still around. So he is eventually going to get strong, but they have to find a way to survive, to prevent that disaster, and yet still maintain their freedom. Okay, is a great series. I enjoy reading it. It's tough to get my hands on one. It really, really is. I was very surprised I was able to get a copy of issue number 4, but I do enjoy it. I'm looking forward to issue number 5, which hopefully will be coming out on Wednesday, November 17th. From Marvel Comics, Black Widow number 12 variant cover. This cover was drawn by Joe Jusko. So this cover is a reprint of the Marvel Masterpieces Black Widow card that came out back in the 1990s. Alright, as you can see here, it's in the old and famous gray costume that Black Widow wore, and then back then she sported the short hair, slicked off to the side a bit, and you could clearly see her signature Widow's Bite blasters on her wrists. So one of the more famous covers that she has was from the Uncanny X-Men number 268, when she gets together with Wolverine. Okay, and Jim Lee has her in this costume. But in any case, she's there on the rooftops of New York City, and Joe Jusko does an absolutely great job with this old classic look of Natasha Romanoff, the Black Widow. So while right now she's she has a very different look with sporting the long red hair, and I do like the new look better, but the classic look will always be amongst one of my favorites. So, and as a reminder, issue number 13 is going to be coming out, unfortunately, way out on Wednesday, December 22nd. From Marvel Comics, The Death of Doctor Strange number 2. So this cover was drawn by R.B. Silva, one of the Stormbreakers from Marvel Comics. So this, for me, was my cover of the week, despite the fact that it came out the previous week. I decided to get it this week. This is a fabulous Venomized cover of Doctor Strange. And instead of having, the 2 arms, for him to weave his magic, he's got 6, because of the symbiote. So he's definitely a lot more powerful, and I love his Doctor Strange logo, which is normally on his shirt, and it's essentially covering, almost everything, in his chest and his hip area, and it really brings it out. I love the dark background. He's obviously in the cosmic realm. So it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, a little creepy, but still an absolutely fantastic cover. And the Stormbreakers are essentially Marvel Comics, artists that are definitely up and coming. They're not the new kids on the block, but definitely like the newer artists, and they're pushing them, and like people like artists like R.B. Silva, Patrick Gleason, I can't, Peach Momoko, so they really pushed them to do interiors and covers, but this cover that RB Silva does is absolutely great. So again, this is my cover of the week, and for those of you who are interested, issue number 3 of the Death of Doctor Strange will be coming out on Wednesday, November 17th. From Marvel Comics, Wolverine number 17. This cover was drawn by Patrick Gleason. So I'm used to seeing Patrick Gleason's more simple covers, like he did the web cover for Amazing Spider-Man, Venom, and Carnage, which became instant classics. And then he did the one for the Black Panther, which I absolutely loved. So for this one, this is a Venomized cover of Wolverine. Now, the bad thing about it to me is that you can't really see any part of Venom. I mean, yeah, his eyes and the teeth, but that's it. There's no tendrils. There's nothing that screams that he has a symbiote that he's wearing a symbiote. It's just like him with a dark shadow over him. And I mean, don't get me wrong, he looks bloody, he looks nasty. He's gonna kill you, which, well, Wolverine really does, I mean, he's one of the top killers in the Marvel Comics. But to me, there's nothing that screams symbiote on it. Great cover nonetheless. I mean, I love Patrick Gleason, and I hope he continues to reinvent, his art as he goes along. But his career right now with Marvel is stellar. He, over the last couple of years, he's done some groundbreaking covers, that have become instant classics. So I hope that Patrick Gleason keeps it up. Did you pick up some of the comics that I showed you today? I hope so. And if you did, please let me know in the comments down below. Also, let me know if you like the new format, the new logo, okay? Essentially the changes that I made to the video, okay? It'll go a long way to let me know how you feel and let me know which direction I should take the videos. Alright, so I'm looking forward to some of the books that are coming out this week on Wednesday, November 10. Like, we have Radiant Black number 9, The Nice House on the Lake number 6, The Me You Love in the Dark number 4, which is the penultimate issue, so we have one more issue after this, so the miniseries is going to be ending. We also have Lucky Devil number 4, which was a surprise for me because it was my first Dark Horse comic that I collected, and it's the end of the 4-issue limited series. And I've enjoyed it, and there's a couple of cover buys, Jennifer Blood, not to mention Rose Besh, who's doing the Sheena cover. So I'm looking forward to getting those 2 covers on top of it. So I'm also looking forward to Silver Coin. I have issue 1. I need to get issues 2 through 5. So I'm definitely getting issue 6, which is the beginning of the new run. I hope that it continues, that Josh Williamson continues the great work that they started with the first 5 issues, which got him this new run now. I hope that they're really successful with this title, and it eventually will get option. You never know. All right, so if you'd like to see more of me on a team-related level, I'm on with the New York Warriors on Saturday mornings at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 a.m. Pacific on their Coffee and Comic show, and on Sunday evenings with Team Nerd Herd on their Comic Topic show at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. So I'm also on during the week here and there with Team Nerd Herd, since I'm officially a part of their team, in case you guys didn't know. That's just a decision that I made, and they accepted me as a member of their team. So I really do look forward to continuing to work with them. I'm writing articles for CBSI now, and I'm also doing some streaming during the week, like on Fanime Talk, or with their CBSI, or their Mondo Mail Call once in a blue moon. It's been pretty busy, but the kind of busy that I like, talking about comic books, hanging out with some guys, and just having a good time with you, the comic book community. So I hope that you guys get some great books on Wednesday, November 3rd. It's the beginning of another month, 2 months to the end of the year. All right, and let's finish this year out strong. Hopefully, your families are safe, and that you know, remember to keep the social distancing, and just continue to be wary of COVID, even though the numbers have been going down. All right. So from my family to yours, please be safe, and remember, comics are great, and so are you. Later.